Y'all know what the description is. Me and my wife really been known to these people for a very long time. So we today going to be today I'm going to be talking about retired Gale Rieder, private counsel for Marion County. A lot has come up in my case within the 6 years of me like fighting it, reading, going through the penal codes, seeing a movement, seeing the communication between the prosecutor and the public defender, also judge included. There's a lot here that I'm going to be explaining. I'm trying to do this pretty fast. Sometimes it get to a point where you just can't rush. What's up, buddy? You just can't rush uh, what God wants you to put out there. So, as you see over here, we got the Declaration of Gale Rieder. Okay. We'll read this because what's very important here is that Gale Rieder, is not acting as a public defender in my case because I had raised a claim stating that the public defender, Kerry Weiland, was working with the prosecutor, Douglas Hanson, and they in fact took away my preliminary hearing rights. A preliminary hearing rights are the most important part of the case, if you ask me. That means you tell the prosecutor to bring forth enough evidence to get a jury to sign a charging instrument such as an indictment. Here, what I found out is that Gale Rieder actually tells on Douglas Hanson and Roger Smith and the rest of them. I made my Facebook fan page called Undercover Corruption. The reason why I got the undercover part in there is because these people really didn't care that certain individuals that were supporting me were wearing mics. And the reason why I initially started to record these people is because of Gale Rieder, the way that she was behaving. For her to have been an attorney for all these years, and not only that, a judge. She also served as a judge part of this, and that's what we're looking at right here. It says, Gale Rieder, do declare as the following. Now, the first thing that I will say about this is that I don't believe that this is Gale Rieder writing this declaration. I honestly don't believe that Gale Rieder even know about this. So if she don't know, if she do know, she's going to be held accountable if she do know. But if she don't know, then she better be paying attention. Stop. She better be paying close attention to what I'm about to reveal as far as reading her declaration. I'm attorney licensed to practice law in the state of Oregon beginning in July of 1993 and until my retirement on December 31st, 2017. I practiced criminal law from September 2008 until September 2nd, 2011. I worked in the Marion County as a hearing reference. Listen to this part, as a hearing referee pro tem judge for Oregon Judicial Department. That is a big deal right there. That is very, to me, Gale Rieder knew the law. She knew how to research the law and she knew how to apply the law because she served as that referee pro tem judge for the Judicial Department. Right? She represented clients on charges ranging from misdemeanors to murder. I have represented clients in many jury trials at every level. I have seen hundreds of witnesses testify during trial. And if that's the case, Why didn't you or Douglas Christopher Hanson call the most important witness to the case, Jessica Johnson, to trial? Y'all used subpoena powers, and y'all used witness powers, and y'all read affidavits, and y'all did all these things. But when it came to going to trial, y'all forced me into a stipulated downward dispositional departure using these big words that most clients don't even know about, and that's why God set me on this journey to prove to the people what I mean about corruption and what I mean by being undercover, and how you go undercover to expose these people. These people normally know that the recordings that I got of them is legit, because they the ones that was doing illegal harm to me. They was the ones invading privacy. They was the ones that was hiring people to investigate me against my will. They were the ones that was holding me up, and Gale Rieder plays a very important role to Stephanie Allen's corruption too. When we talk about Gale Rieder, you gonna understand why she is now retired, because Gale Rieder normally know that Douglas Christopher Hanson was talking to me through her emails. So I was appointed to represent petitioner, meaning petitioner means this is a civil matter, because I'm stating state and constitutional violations. So I become a petitioner because if if there's any claims of those violations, then it moves into a civil suit. And we know that they said good luck on the civil suit pending against you down in Marion County. This was told to my wife back in 2015. Unfortunately, they didn't hold up their end of the deal. And when we talk about the evidence of Gale Rieder, we talk about the missing paperwork. All of that is going to be included. We went through the Team A yesterday, and I'm hoping that people took that and ran with it like they were supposed to, because it's going to be good to teach other people how to question their public defenders, what to look for, what specific words mean, such as downward departure. What does it mean to stipulate? If I stipulate, what are the rights that I'm giving up? Because all defendants, from what I've went through, stand no chance. They stand no chance if the prosecutor use the language term stipulating. And this is to basically protect the prosecutor from illegal prosecution, is what I'm calling it. And Douglas Hanson is known to illegally prosecute. And I'm not saying that Douglas Hanson prosecuted all his cases illegally. But what I will say is that when you got somebody like me on his top, then people need to really look at the facts. Don't look at Matthew Johnson. Just all he do is talk about Douglas Hanson and what Douglas Hanson did. If he wasn't guilty, then why did he take the deal? Well, when they leverage your wife and your children against you, and then they put 160 months if you don't do what they say, then you have no other option. So that's exactly why the deal happened, and we explained this several times. And like I said, I will be doing another live stream of Team A. And the reason why I say Team A is because Douglas Hanson is lying to these people, but he's also incriminating himself for an hour and 45 minutes, which I thought was just unethical. And he don't realize that Susan Tripp had already thrown him up under the bus. Now you see, I got a lot of stuff that I'm gonna be going over here. So where I was appointed to represent petitioner March 10th, 2015, on the charges of promoting prostitution and delivery of an oxycodone within 1,000 feet of a school. I believe I was petitioner's fourth attorney appointed by the courts based upon petitioner's criminal history. Each charge carried 30 to 45 months presumptive prison sentence with a possible the with a possible the recreational departure, the recreational departure up to 18 80 months. So that's the reason why I took the deal, is because they was playing games with my life. They was using my freedom against me. They was trying to use the system to outdo me right here. Basically what they send declarational departure to 80 months. Basically, he was doubling the 40 months for each charge, 40 and 40 for each charge, which is the promoting and the delivery charge. There was no way that these charges should have been read delivery charge, but we're not talking about that here, right? And these are considered exhibits. So when I look up what are exhibits, that's evidence that one side is putting on to state that these are the facts and that these facts a court should rely on. And in my aspect, and reading Gale Rieder's declaration letter, she's missing a whole lot of evidence, and we're going to make sure that Douglas Hanson can't hide this evidence, because one thing that I do know about when Gale Rieder allowed Douglas Christopher Hanson into the CC emails, that gave him power to go back to delete conversations between me and Gale Rieder. But what happens is the information that that got deleted somehow in my emails by Douglas Hanson, I know who did it. Those conversations that was taking place was not between me and my attorney Gale Rieder. They were in fact between me and Douglas Christopher Hanson, who's the prosecutor, who admitted, by the way, to my wife that he shouldn't been trying to talk to me, but he was doing a whole bunch of illegal stuff. And it's a hard puzzle to put together because there's so many people involved, right? So based upon my review of the police report in the petitioner's case, the state's evidence at trial would likely include at least the following information. Likely. You got to read the words of a bride, and you got to say to yourself, more than not, right? Likely. Where did this person get this evidence from? Now, if you read in the description, I said that Gale Rieder knowingly knew about my wife prostitution citation. And that's very important, because the prostitution citation actually is the reason why the police come to arrest Matthew Johnson and throw me under the bus, stack the charges on me, cite the initial person that's having the arrest, right? And that's what they did. We read in this declaration letter. A. Salem Police Officer Smith. Hearing firm. Smith will testify that on May 15, 2014, he was reviewing Backpage.com looking for possible prostitution activity. This is the thing that we're going to do after we read this, is we're going to compare it to this. How on earth do you get a police report from a citation? You don't normally write a police report on that unless you feel that the prostitute that you given a citation to is going to go to trial. Normally that doesn't happen because they appear back in court 30 days after. So, and that's where all this start from. That's where it happens at. Possible prostitution activity in the city of Salem. He initiated a text communication with a woman he believed was a prostitute based upon her advancements on Backpage. The text conversation included several different services that the woman offered and the cost for those services. The woman agreed to meet Mr. Smith today, but Mr. Smith was unable to do so the following day. Now listen to this, because Susan Tripp said at least there's evidence, right? At least there's evidence of Mrs. Johnson being in Salem and not Mr. Johnson. Now my defense is part of my defense, breaking that little paragraph down right there when she said Smith, where was it at right here? I got to get over here. When she said, but Smith, right here, when she said, but Smith was unable to do so the following day, right? This is May 16th, so a day before is May 15th, right? You hear on Susan Tripp and Douglas Hanson's own evidence. You hear on their own evidence that at least there was evidence of her being in Salem, right? And we're going to get there because I like to play my videos along the way because it's important to me to put this together in a way that people understand.
My basic thoughts. The first time when the officer basically blew her off and then came back to talk to her again, his testimony was that occurred on what day? Was it the day before?
That was May 15th.
Yes, the day before.
Okay.
This is all wrong.
And then he recontacted her May 16th, and they set up that 1 o'clock in the afternoon meeting at the Shiloh Inn.
Wow.
And so at least there was evidence.
It was evidence
that she was in Salem.
Yeah, that's it. That she was.
Yes, the 15th.
Yes.
And she indicated as such in that ad that she had placed.
That she had placed, but they said earlier that it was from my black laptop.
And that's what I say is that this declaration ain't even making sense. It's already contradicting what happened during trial. Like, there was no evidence of there. Now, if Roger Smith did his job and arrested Jessica on May 15th, Matthew Johnson would not be fighting promoting prostitution in the delivery of an oxycodone charge. Actually, what would have happened was they would have found Jessica there and they would have took Jessica to jail for prostitution and plus having my prescribed medication in her purse. But they couldn't have got her with a delivery of anything because they was her husband's medication. She just went and picked them up and forgot to put them in my medicine cabinet. That's the truth. You know what I'm saying? That's the honest God truth. But they took it and made it into something else. Smith and the woman again exchanged texts during that exchange, the woman agreed to have sexual intercourse with Smith for $420. She texts Smith, "Okay, I'm at the Shiloh Inn at Market Street," and then they give these exhibits that they use for the police report. And when I tell you they doing this by controlling the narrative. They not telling the truth. They only putting on their evidence. They not one time have ever allowed me to put on any evidence. On May 16, 2014, approximately 1 p.m., right, Smith and Detective Lance T. Didi, I don't know this officer. I never seen him. I can't point him out in the lineup. He never came through pre-trial motion hearings, so I don't even know why he's even implicated in none of this, right? Didi, together with members of the Salem Police Department Streets Crime Unit, went to the Shiloh Inn, Market Street in Salem. Smith knocked on the door. It was answered by a secure cloud woman. Sentinel cloud woman identified, recognizing by Smith. Immediately recognized by Smith as the woman in the picture from the Backpage.com advertisement. The woman identified as Jessica Uriah Johnson. As Smith walked into the room, he identified himself as a police officer. Other officers followed him into the room, exhibit 5 through 6, as Didi asked Jessica. And the thing is, so right here in Gale Rieder's declaration, sorry, my eyes has been burning today for some reason. I can't stop rubbing my eyes. So I'm seeing stuff blurry and backwards. I hate when that, so I have to slow myself down. But we're going to get on C of this as Detective Didi asked Jessica Uriah Johnson if anyone else was in the room. The closet door just inside the room entry door open, and an adult male extended both of his hands out. He identified himself as petitioner. Both petitioner and Jessica Johnson were identified in handcuffs in exhibit 1 through 6. I don't have none of these exhibits that this declaration goes to, but I will be exposing more of the paperwork, right? So Jessica Uriah Johnson made several statements to the officer. She told Smith that she had sex with different men the night before. I wasn't even there. This is the thing. Susan Tripp and Douglas Hanson already said that I was not there, so there was no way that I could have promoted her. There was no way I could have assisted and aided her. I had got there late that night and I could not drive. I was sick. Douglas Hanson, Susan Tripp, Gale Rieder hid out something that was very important to my case. And I'm not going to keep y'all waiting on this. I'm gonna actually show y'all what I'm talking about here. Is that there's no way that these people can get away with this, right? But they did, because Gale Rieder stole away my right to put on a defense. I was sick and dying at the time of my arrest. I sent this information going against my medical release, thinking that Gale Rieder would help me, right? I told her, ma'am, I was sick and I was dying. I was dizzy. I needed 2 IVs. I didn't even make it to the Marion County Jail. I was that sick, guys. I was that sick. Here go my medical. So what I want you to do is pay attention to what's called signing under duress. Signing under duress, sometimes you can't sign V.C, right? You can't sign the V.C and then your signature, because that puts them up on where, but you can use symbols. So right here, if you pay close attention to page 5 of 10, right, you see that I put two duress symbol signs. You can look it up, symbols of duress, and it's going to give you these two lines. And this is what I did. And the reason why I did this is because I went to the Salem Hospital. You see that on May 16, 2014. I went to the Salem Hospital. I was too sick. I was too ill. When them police questioned me, they questioned me under duress. I can't even remember half the stuff that I was saying to them. You imagine you not being a diabetic, but you taking a pill called metformin that's producing way more insulin than your body needs. There was no way that I could stay fully focused. I was in fear of my life. I had already knew about police killings, and hadn't I actually been found hiding in this closet, somebody would have tased me, shot me, killed me, something. I was not hiding in the closet. This is a story that they made up because I basically blew their case up wide open. I basically blew their case open. They had to find a way to deal with me, right? Patient was brought in by medics, paramedics reports with weakness, feeling dizzy, and having nausea and vomiting times 5 days. Just PT was arrested and officers was on the way to jail. Meds started 18 gallons PIV and 1 liter AC, 1 liter on NS given by meds, 8 milligrams of Zofran given ODT by meds, right? I showed them proof. And you know what Gale Rieder and Douglas Hanson came up with? Remember the duress symbol that I showed you guys, right? This is their information. They took that same information and they blacked it out. They blacked it out. They not only knew that I was telling the truth about being under duress. You cannot question a person that's under duress and hold that against them in a court of law. You violating every right that I got. You're not allowing me to get the medical attention that I need. All you care about is prosecuting me and charging me for some crimes that I did not commit towards my wife, by the way, who struggled with this way before I even got into her life. I never seen this kind of crap before until Douglas Hanson made me go through it. He legitimately made me go through hell. And I think it's a bad cup of tea for Douglas Hanson and the rest of the party that made a choice to do this to me, because there was no reason for them to do this. If you gonna charge me, why would you send me back to be with my wife? Why would you put that stress on me? Because you knew the mental part of this. You knew that it was breaking me down. You knew that it would be it would be extremely hard for people to help me. And that's not cool. That's not cool at all. My public defender, she didn't do anything to help me. Gale Rieder plays a very important part in all this. She hid out my medical. That's what I'm saying. She hid out that medical. She hid it out, and she made sure that Douglas Hanson side won. Knowing that she put on record, she questioned my doctor about it. She questioned Harbison about it. We'll get into that a little bit later. But right now we're going over this paperwork. I believe that people should have the ability to question the motives of their attorney. Whether they cannot pay for them, just know that the attorney have to give 300 hours in a year, every year, pro bono hours. So sometimes when they feel like they're not being paid correctly for a case like mine, then they just don't give a damn about it. They'll dog you out and they'll get you to take a plea, and nothing you can say to them will matter. Gale Rieder also made me take a mental psych evaluation. She threatened to put me into the state hospital because she was all into my business with LifeWorks too. So when I told you about the duress symbols, I knew when I released this report, my medical information to show and prove that the police officers questioned me under duress. It's a fact. There's no way I shouldn't have got my money. I lost my cars. I lost all my money that they stole from me. I've been in debt with the county, with the state, and it's all been bad on me. And I haven't done nothing wrong but try to fight for my innocence in this situation. Here in this situation, but it's quite obvious that all these people, and I flashed Team A for you one time. All these people mattered in my situation. They all mattered because one person, Douglas Hanson. Douglas Hanson is the sole person that got all these people involved with his corruption, and I've been keeping notes and paperwork on them all. Now, what I will do is, let me see if I could go to Team A, and then no, I won't do it. I won't do it. I have to do that later. I don't want to do it right now yet. I don't want to. So when you think about this lineup and you see Gale Rieder on here, you see Douglas Hanson, you see the whole nine. Where's my help? All these people is working from the public defense office, and they also working the DOJ angle on me. Where is the help? Where is the community help? Would y'all wait until it's a moment where y'all screaming Black Lives Matter, justice for Matthew Johnson? Or can I at least be the vessel God put me here to be, to share the insight of corruption, to share the rundown of it, to be able to come forward with the arrest cycle due to Douglas Hanson and Gale Rieder's unethical misconduct and Susan Tripp prejudice for believing in Douglas Hanson, right? Douglas Hanson went to Susan Tripp and told Susan Tripp that Matthew Johnson have hate for homosexuals, or he hate the LGBT community, and that is far from the truth. Then I don't know. But like I said, when we get in front of Justice Amy Barrett, bless her little heart, she's such a nice judge. You know, I've been following her for a long time. That's one judge that I would love to talk to. And you know what? When she see the prejudice and the violations of the Constitution by these people with no help, and I'm a black man that y'all did this to, it's gonna have to be some explaining. There's going to have to be some explaining. Now, the reason why I got all these people tied in around Gale Rieder included is because hadn't it been for Gale Rieder, Susan Tripp, Douglas Hanson, I wouldn't have known none of these people. None of these people would know me. And I guaranteed you, they would not go home thinking, what are we going to do about this Matthew Johnson guy who keeps exposing us? He's getting so close to figuring us all out. And all I want them to do, and I know that they watch me and I know that they listening, all I want them to do is hold Douglas, Christopher Hanson, Kerry Weiland, Gale Rieder, and Susan Tripp accountable. That's all I want them to do. I deserve my life back to normal. All the money that they took from me, all the stuff that they stole from me, all the things, the unnecessary drama that they put me through. And you see, if you go all the way to the bottom, right? All the way to the bottom right, you'll see Susan Tripp. Then you'll see Rod Underhill. Then you'll see this man. His name is David Schietzler with Innovative Counseling. When I expose David Schietzler, I pretty much gonna own his business because what he did was illegal, because he not only knew that I was telling the truth, but he still proceeded to help the plot by labeling me. Because of Gale Rieder, this happened to me. Because I was unable to defend myself, and I was unable to get proper help, and I was not given due process, this is what happened to me. Put yourself in my shoes. Ask yourself, could you have gone through everything that I went through for loving your wife and your children? Where is the justice? You arrest me under several different names. You hide it out, right? Not only that, you arrest me under my son's name. Y'all get so vindictive that y'all take my son, by the way, who say things like he don't like Douglas Hanson because he always take me to jail. And that's the truth. You took me to jail several times throughout this process, and not one time with a suspended. My brother is fighting a case right now with a suspended sentence. He ain't out of jail. How was it that I went to jail with this sort of suspended sentence hanging over my head, but I never saw the judge? You know why? Because these people is very powerful people. They DAs and judges. You hear it in Gale Rieder's own declaration letter that she was a pro tem judge. She was a substitute judge. She this, she that. So she knew better. So let me show you a couple videos. Because that's what I got this little project right here for. We're just going to ease that up here.
Miss Matthew Mayfield Johnson is June 13, 2016. I'm doing this documentary solely about the public defenders of Marion County. The first person that I'm going to be talking about is Gale Rieder, a public defender who was acting as private counsel in my case 14C42686. She screwed me over to help a corrupted district attorney by the name of Douglas Christopher Hanson, who has now retained himself a lawyer due to the write-up that I put in on him through the Oregon State Bar for violating my constitutional rights. I want to point out to you a small clipping about Gale Rieder's misconduct in trying to attempt to help Douglas Hanson cover up his hate crime. I'm going to press play, and then after that I'll pause it and show you the extreme evidence or Actually, I might just be recording, showing the evidence while she's saying this crap.
Yeah.
All right. Ms. Ryder, I understand that there's been an agreement.
You're gonna hear her laugh
Is there
too.
anything else?
Like she knew what she was doing was
At
wrong.
this time, Your Honor, we stipulate that if the state were to put on
How?
evidence without any evidence from the defense.
Without
that
any
the
evidence,
state would
she
be
was
able to-
lying.
No, Your Honor, this is as Mr. Hanson has said, this resolution is the result of a number of different negotiated possibilities. And we are asking the court to impose the sentence as stipulated by the parties.
All right. Mr. Johnson, go ahead and stand up. I've heard a lot about this case through the motions. Is there any?
As you can see, Gale Rieder has.
You heard a lot about the case through the
made
motions. You heard a lot about the case through the motions, and I'll tell you, I was stressed out because I knew Gale Rieder was no help to me. She was no help to me. There was no way that I was getting out of this. And what I'm concerned with people is what they don't understand with me is that when I say undercover corruption, I mean that. When I say that to you guys, I mean that for a fact. Because if you look at let me let y'all in on my folder, on my information here, because everything is in order. Everything that I do has to be in a way that I can explain it to the public, because it's not just about me no more. It's about what they can do to your family members, what they can do to you. You know what I'm saying? They already did it to me. Now I got the ability to go ahead and share it with the world of the preponderance of evidence that I have. It's so funny is because when we talk about reading her declaration, she's actually committing perjury, and she's lying, and she's using the office again for personal gain. And this is something that's right out of Douglas Hanson's book, Mr. My wife called him Corrupted Hanson, which is actually a good name. So what we do is we click on these folders right here, and it'll take you into my public defender folders. It'll take you straight into my public defender folders. Right? In these folders, I got Carrie Weiland, Jessica Kemphy, David Kuhn, Gale Rieder, Ron Channinewicz, Martin Habakos, Colvin Patterson, Jediah Peterson. Right now, I'm in this folder. I started here, and I've already got through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm on 8 attorneys, not including the substitutes, right? These are the attorneys that physically you didn't see them on Team A, because what I did was put all Douglas Hanson's party people together in Team A, right? But here, what we look for is Gale Rieder, the 4th attorney, which she said in her declaration letter, which is true. She was my 4th attorney, but she was my 4th attorney with 2 substitutes in between. There was a substitute attorney by the name of Tobias Teamliff. And then there was Thomas Shermack, right? Then first of all, there was Thomas Shermack. Then there was Carrie Weiland. Then there was Jessica Kemphy. Then there was David Kuhn. But when I had Carrie Weiland, I also had a substitute by the name of Tobias Teamliff. So she's technically my 5th attorney in, right? But let's click on her real quick. And what we got is my information on Gale Rieder. I got the emails. I got court audio transcripts with her. I got write-ups on her. I got personal information on her. Not only that, and I'm not gonna click on none of this because I'm just showing you guys the interface to all of this. And this is me and Gale Rieder supposed to be helping me. I want to point that out, is that she's hired to defend me. She's my public defender. Until I'm charged for the crime, I haven't been found guilty of the crime. I'm still innocent until they find me guilty. But she was representing me as if I was guilty. She kept on saying the state had this, that, and the other. She never one time asked me, what do you have for your defense, Mr. Johnson? What can you show that go against what the prosecutor is saying? Now, this is what I have in your file. You are allowed to assist in aiding your own defense. How can I assist with you in getting your money back, getting your life back on track? She didn't do none of that. She came in hating me. And I could prove it because I got court audio transcripts that's off court record. And what we'll do is I'll just press play.
Good luck, man.
So you hear certain individuals.
Okay. So let's start from the beginning.
Gale Rieder, if you ain't gonna tell the truth, I'm gonna tell the truth for
Do a better
you.
job of representing you if I know more about you than just what's in the report.
What report? You shouldn't have had a report. An EDP offer was given. But you're gonna hear static in this video because I didn't know that my brother turned his recorder on on his phone. He gave me a phone.
Foster home.
He gave me his phone and I put it in my pocket.
14.
And I didn't know it was recorded. Gale Rieder in my conversation. And you hear that I'm really fluent with this lady.
Portland?
Yeah.
Okay. Are high school in Portland?
Yeah.
Which one?
Tubman.
Tubman?
Yeah.
Graduate?
Yeah, but I was in prison when I graduated.
What for?
Robbery.
Robbery 1?
Yep.
Okay. Where in prison?
All over the place. I started out at McLaren
Where'd you end up?
in Columbia River.
When we talk about privately investigating, this is where it starts. This is one of the original videos that I said that I wasn't going to release, but I think it's time to release some of it. It's staticky because I'm not aware that my brother-in-law turned on his recorder for me, because she was just doing us all bad. I'm doing a lot of moving, man.
No.
Who do you live with?
I live everywhere. I don't have a study.
They was trying to set me up so many ways, but I would not give in.
Right. I got Coons better at the same address that you read off, but this one never got there.
Okay. So what's an address that works to send you things?
I might find something else. Let me
That's why I
get.
work by email, because I check that every day. Really have an address.
Where are you staying?
Really for my sister, but I don't have an address for her. She just moved to her.
On a no contact order with your wife right now?
A no contact order with the wife.
What's that?
don't know. I have no clue what's going on with all this. I'm actually fighting her case, if you ask me.
A no contact order with my wife.
Yes, I do.
Can I see that?
I have more evidence than Gale Rieder. I got it right. Let me try to turn this part down because it's so staticky. So you hearing this static because I'm not aware that my brother turned on his recorder. I could never find a protective order in my case with my wife. A no contact order, not a protective order.
And I've been asking to get that raised for almost a year now. No luck. This is my wife and all that. You talking about my family. Like, I've been trying to, I don't even know what this case is about. Before it could be over to tell you the truth.
Well, we'll get there. Okay.
Yeah, I checked that faithfully, yes.
What's your phone?
503 927 2916.
And that's your personal cell phone? Okay. Okay. Anything else right now that you think I should know about you that would be helpful? Personal stuff. I'm not asking about case stuff. I'm asking about personal stuff.
I don't know what to tell you.
Okay.
I mean, as much as information that I got, I don't know. I'm so confused about all this.
Okay.
It's just overwhelming over my head. Over this, I've been trying to prove beyond reasonable doubt. A lot of this stuff in here ain't even about me. It's right, true, accurate, none of it.
Okay. Well, here's the two charges. You have two charges that you're facing. The first one is delivery of oxycodone within 1,000 feet of the school. That's an A felony. A felony maximum sentence is 20 years in jail and or a fine of $375,000. And that's a C felony. Maximum sentence on any C felony is 5 years in prison and fine of up to $125,000.
Wow.
But because that's the maximum anyone will do, you have a right to know that. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Delivery of oxycodone within 1,000 feet of the school says defendant on or about May 16, 2014 in Marion County, Oregon, unlawfully and knowingly deliver oxycodone, a controlled substance within 1,000 feet of the real property comprising a public or private elementary, vocational, or secondary school primarily by name. Anything you know about delivery charges, drug charges in Oregon? Is is that attempting to deliver is the same as a delivery. So if you're trying to deliver drugs under Oregon law, it's the same as delivering drugs.
In this county on this day, right? Because it clearly says that I did it in this day, on this county, on about this day.
It says on or about.
Yeah.
The law says that the district attorney has some latitude or some ability to prove that on a different day other than May 16th. Because the language is on or about.
Corruption.
About what? So that's what I'm getting. Like, I'm getting confused because he's trying to charge me with delivery of my own prescribed meds that wasn't even found on me.
What he's saying is that around that date, you were trying to deliver oxycodone.
A lot.
The second charge is about May 16th, 2014 in Marion County, you unlawfully and knowingly with intent to promote prostitution. You received money other than other prostitutes being compensated for personally limited prostitution service, pursuant to an agreement that the money was delivered from a prostitution activity. So promoting prostitution in this case means that you got money from a prostitute.
What money?
Prostitute.
What money?
Well, money that you must have had on your person.
That's my money.
Or with you.
It was my money. I got checks and everything bagging it up. I don't know how much information that I have. Like I said, I don't even know what kind of trial I'm in.
What do you mean you don't know what kind of trial?
What am I in a jury trial? Am I in a bench trial? What is going on?
You have to decide something. So those are the two charges you're facing.
And none of it makes sense to me.
Well, what part about the charges don't you understand?
I didn't do neither or of them.
Okay, well, that's what a trial's all about. Delivery of a consumer weapon is a level 8. Are you familiar with the grid?
Absolutely. I got everything you got.
I have more evidence than her, actually.
Probably doesn't have the
Watch how I chop her up. Watch. Sorry about the
Everything
static.
looks fine to me.
well, I know that.
She tried to convince me that my information wasn't right.
You got the
I'm sorry if I'm being.
I was
like,
nice to
I
this
don't-
lady.
Like I've been. This is my hard work. This is lawyer to lawyer to lawyer to lawyer. Lies and lies and lies. And this photo right here this is just off record stuff. This is information.
I'm
between
explaining to
any
this lady.
and all public defenders that I've ever had. I want to go over this. So
I tried to show her information and she would not help me.
This is a good one, okay? What you're telling me is you have a robbery one conviction and an unlawful use of a firearm. And I'm going to talk to you, Mr. Johnson, like we've never had an attorney before in this. And that's
Why?
It's going to frustrate the heck out of
So
me.
why would you do that?
Many of them, look, they keep falling off because they don't want to hear the truth.
Well, I should make you tell me this lesson.
Like they tell me that my preliminary hearing rights don't matter, but everything is evolved around me.
Okay, well, let me go on with my speech. Delivery of a controlled substance within 1,000 feet of the school is a level 8. Right here. All crimes rank from 1 to 11 based on crime seriousness score. Delivery, level 8. Promoting prostitution, that's one I don't have memorized.
She don't have it memorized, but I'm showing.
That's how I know mine is up to date because it's right here, promoting prostitution.
She told me it wasn't up to date, but she ended up looking at mine. Because she didn't know.
That's a level 8 as well. You have 1 person felony plus 1 non from what you're telling me. Right?
Here go my criminal history.
What?
Right here.
So you're a C?
You know how to open it?
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or you just cut it down?
No, what did I tell you?
When you work in a group, you go across the rules that are the law says that the correct sentence is 29 to 34 months on each one of these. Under certain circumstances, a judge can impose what's called a durational departure. Duration meaning the length of the sentence can be and it can be up to twice the higher number. So the
Is
actual,
that where you get 140 minutes?
I don't know, I haven't seen the contract, so I have no idea. So, what, on the, can I look at that? What time is it?
That's what they say like this. Must stipulate in district attorney will seek 140 months.
Well, okay, that's, what he wants is,
Me to take 5 years.
no, he wants 40 months on each. And 20 confess. Okay, so you're right about that, you want 60 months, 40 with 20 confess, and that's 60 months with no good time.
Right. Treating me like I'm a major 11. I'm not a sex offender. I'm not taking that. I'd rather go to jail and take it all the way to appeal.
Okay, well, that's why we're going to trial.
I've been trying to go to trial since Kerry Wiley. What happened to my due process? What happened to
Oh,
my
you get two trials. You get two trials, whatever.
what happened to my fast and speedy trial?
He thinks you're a bee. How come he thinks you're
I
a bee?
don't know.
Okay, well, let's see. Maybe that unlawful use of a weapon is a person crime. That's why you're a bee. So you've got 2-person felony. So you're a bee. So the law presumes the correct sentence is 35 to 40. Okay? Okay. So we've looked at what...
80 is maximum. How do we get 140 months?
Well, actually, we could get 160 months.
Just give it here. I'll do that. I don't know what to do. I've been trying. Yeah.
Some quiet. Okay. So from 8 law presumes the correct sentence is 35 to 40 months. With the departure, the judge could give you 80 months, up to 80 months on either one of these charges. And because there are crimes that address different kinds of conduct, then the judge might have authority to run these consecutive to one another.
What?
One after the other.
Okay.
80 plus 80 is 160.
His math is the one that's off, not mine.
So,
Well, it's not about math, it's just about what. Now, in reality, is the judge going to give you 160 months for this? Probably not.
I'm a confederate.
so what we're looking at is Douglas Hanson.
I rejected the plea offer. Why didn't these crimes come back?
Well, you're only charged with these two. So we don't care about anything that might...
We don't care. Who's
So I've been charged.
You've been charged with these 2 crimes. This is an indictment brought by the grand jury.
And who is this grand jury?
7 people from the community.
she said 7 people.
That was listened to 2 police officers. Just like Queen said, it's all factual statements.
Witnesses that testified at the grand jury.
And I got a question about this Smith.
Witnesses.
What can he testify on about me when he
Yeah.
never even talked to me? Oh, Daddy took $1,200 out of my pocket, but where did he find the $90 at?
I know.
She don't know nothing.
Document that's been filed with the court by the district attorney, issued by the grand jury. True bill means they found probable cause to indict you.
That's a lie. I gotta get to an indictment.
It's all funny to me. I can't even be sad no more. I done did so much work and so much evidence on how these people was corrupted that it don't even make sense.
Okay. Well, the next issue then is to talk about what you want to do with this case.
Do whatever you want to do with it.
Filed some motions.
And what are those motions? He never talked to me ever in his life about it. A motion.
Do you know what a motion is?
No, I don't.
Okay. A motion is something that asks the court. Oh, and you can send them stuff to the court personally. You can't do that.
You can't do that.
When you have an attorney, the judge won't accept things from you. The judge will just send them on to me.
I know.
So you want these?
This was sent to her because nobody was helping you. What would you do if you innocent and you felt like somebody wasn't trying to help you? What would you really do?
What I would do doesn't matter. But what I'm telling you is the judge won't accept things from me. So it's a waste of postage, it's a waste of time.
Oh, I'd rather try.
Waste of postage, a waste of time.
So let's talk about the motions, okay? A motion is a way to ask the court to do something. That's how you ask the court to do something. If there is some evidence unreasonable, or to declare certain things should happen. You have any questions about that?
No, I don't.
Okay? One of the most.
I don't understand none of this stuff. That's why I got a power of attorney. Somebody that can sit here and help explain it to me.
Well, that's my job.
No, you sure wasn't doing a good job.
If you are not able to understand it, you are not able to understand it, then we have another situation in which we need to go.
I just feel like Coon instructed you or said something to you that made you feel otherwise. That's what I don't know. Like, cause I do have a power of attorney and it's stamped and all that, just like anything else. And I have medical proven.
She made me cry to her.
I've been trying to give medical to these people ever since. No, I'm always down here listening. You're in bad news. For one, I'm getting charged for my wife having my own prescribed meds, and I did not know that she had them. And I got proof, and I've been trying to stand proof since Kerry Wiley, and I asked for a fast and speedy trial. A fast and speedy trial to try to show that this lady has been doing this to me ever since I met her. I've been fighting this ever since I met her, ever since I got out of prison. I even got up-to-date medical, and I don't know.
Crying don't work. They don't care.
Let's talk for a minute about this law.
Sh-
One of the things that the law requires is that person be able to understand the nature of the charges against them, and that they be able to aid and assist in their own defense. And aiding and assisting in their own defense has some components.
Listen to this. This is deep. Manipulation.
It means they need to be able to actively participate in their own defense and make decisions about their own defense. It means being able to listen to the information that they're given. And at this point, Mr. Johnson, I have some concerns about whether you are able to aid and assist in your own defense.
Do you hear this?
I've just been diagnosed with bipolar. I don't know what to tell you guys. I've been it it might look simple to you, but this is my life. I'm not no sex offender. Look, I can even show you stuff that I've done. I've even recited codes back to them. You know, cool. He claimed that his motion to withdraw was because of our relationship, right? But like you said, it's supposed to be some type of relationship with communication. Like I said, I move from house to house. I'm not stable. You know, I read. I do a lot of research. You know, this is me and him, and there's stuff in here that conflicts with the actual police report. Now, if you read this police report, the only thing that they didn't even know I was in it, right? They didn't, just like Coon, he kept on saying that my wife ain't a co-defendant, this, that, and the other.
7 people.
But he said that me and my wife committed these crimes, not just one crime. Y'all charged.
I didn't say anything.
No, I'm not.
Don't say what I did.
Well, the state charged.
Okay, that's a very.
The state charged the prostitute. Now, in all of Tennessee, I don't even have to go that far.
Your wife admits she worked at the prostitute.
Not for me. She admitted that she worked for a prostitute because of this guy right here. See, Coon, I'm more like this. Coon, I know your history, you know. You need to tell people why you actually withdraw and stop making it seem like I didn't want to listen to you and that I wasn't trying to listen to you. It's my job to fight for my life. I got 2 kids, I'm married. And just think about longevity. If I go to prison and I get out, y'all pretty much divorced me from my wife because she's a victim that ain't even there. She didn't even go bag up what the police said. At this hearsay frivolous indictment that they got back in October, when they were supposed to take this information to a preliminary hearing on the 27th. You know what I'm saying? They were supposed to have everything else. When I went to court on the 29th, Judge Bennett, when I went to that court, first of all, I did hope research on the ACT, right? You know what ACT is, right? Are you familiar with that? ACT is supposed to be an active protection for this supposed victim, which is my wife, right? I called around, and I'm asking, like, well, what's this ACT about, right? They tell me it's strictly for somebody that's being protected because the police supposedly say that she's a victim of some shit. So once I looked on it and researched it, come to find out she's not a part of no ACT program. So it's like, is it all lies to try to get me? Is it a mental game? I don't know. But my thing is, I've been asking. She's a trial judge. I was supposed to have been at trial. What is it like? I keep asking these lawyers, not you. What is the reason for delay?
Well, you had to switch lawyers, remember?
Why?
And that's caused some delay. Well, I think, frankly, you've had some problems dealing with your lawyers.
Oh, it's me.
I think, Mr. Johnson, to be truthful, I think you may have some problems dealing and assisting in your own defense.
That's a lie.
It's me. I don't even know what aiding and assisting is. Because, you know, one thing about me is I follow this. I asked Coon several times.
What I'd like to do is have you have you done that?
Yeah. Nobody wants to believe me. Oh, and you know what's so funny? Because why nobody want to look at my medical?
Mr. Johnson.
Nobody, you see that?
Who evaluated you?
I try to bring help so you will know that, but you refuse to listen to them. Or you kick them out without even knowing who they were. To evaluate you. The Salem police, they told me, just tell us why you here and what are you doing here and what's that. Have I met with a doctor? Yes, I have. I'm looking for him. His name is Hardington. No. Actually, Terry Wyman told me that I should just go ahead and find eyewitnesses and people to help me in my case because she don't think that I'm going to be able to win it.
What we have to do first is get your evaluation.
For what?
For whether or not you're able to aid assist in the
All my information don't matter. Everything y'all say to me matter. The penal code, everything. You know, my husband-wife privilege don't matter. My text stuff don't matter. Have you ever been over all the evidence? Like the videos and where did I promote at?
We have a status conference with Judge Tripp on March 31st. Did you get notice of that?
No, remember you said it came back? But I know to stay on it. I feel like it's a setup anyway. That's why I call it community support. And the reason why I say this, nothing against you, because when you have to understand, this is not my first attorney.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm very aware of that.
This is, and you might get whatever they tell you about me. You're right. I'm going to stand up and
I haven't talked with you.
well, I'm glad you did it because it's already this. She told me that I've been trying to get this. Oh, here goes the Washington actually. I give you my doctor. She told me that you would be expecting to call her. There you go. Those are my two doctors. For my bipolar.
Durante, is that how it's pronounced?
Yep, for bipolar.
When were you diagnosed as bipolar?
Just recently.
Recently as when?
A couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Like I said, this I've been sick. You know, I've been on the verge of dying. When they came into that room, they don't want to tell the truth. They want to make it seem like I was just this mad pimp or whatever they making me out to be. I didn't have nothing to do with my wife's behavior. You know, I did sex offender parole for her, just knowing her. Just knowing her, just. You have some nice handwriting.
Thank you. I think it's important to have good handwriting.
Shut up, Gale Rieder.
Yeah, I'm a very good communication type person. Like, I don't understand why Kuhn decided to withdraw. But like I said, because I researched and I called the state bar asking about his conduct.
Mm-hmm.
And it was conflict of interest based on if, like I told him, if this is a sex crime case, then you're not supposed to be on it if you got a sex disciplinary action. But he wrote a how much have dated. I don't even know what my discovery looks like. You know that?
That's true, I see it in there, I told it.
Oh, that's the police report that you're talking about?
You're just trying to fool me.
Is that the discovery? I thought that was my wife's police report of her and the Tripp text messaging. Nothing to do with me. How is that even associated with me? If they charged her, I called and I did some research on this citation, right? I did some research on the citation. I said my wife was fighting, and she was supposed to go to jail on that day, and she was supposed to get booked in. But no, she went to jail and got booked in or whatever they did around this day, right? Now, but like I said, in an actual prostitution case, right? You get more than a citation. I do criminal. I can do this because this is my wife, right? And the reason why I say that is because this is the same thing, same citation format, right? And when I was reading through this, it tells you everything that happened. For one, you never ever get $120 fine for prostitution. Let's just be real. It's $6,500 and up. She was given $1,000 fine, 48 hours worth of community service. Over here, they said, well, excuse my language, fuck that. Let's just give her a citation. Don't take her to jail. Take him to jail. You know, but what they fail to tell you, is that I was really dying. I was sick in there. I was really, and that's what that my doctor's notice saying about. What happened was I was in the process of going through my medical, and my diabetes runs strongly in my family, and I was misdiagnosed. Now I had massive abdominal pain. I was battling from H. pylori, you know, and I had very bad illnesses. And I actually didn't get arrested. When they arrested me on that day, they didn't take me to jail. They took me to jail, but the jail wouldn't accept me because I was too sick. I needed 2 IVs.
Okay.
Look, here goes the report for that.
Okay.
Here goes the report. Now, my doctor that I went over this, right? Because Terry Weiland said you need to find experts and you need to find witnesses. She gave me homework. This is the reason why I got all of this stuff. I can almost guarantee you everything I got in this folder you do not have right there. And I've sent it plenty of times. You know, I had my doctor's notes made out to Terry Weiland, faxed over to Jessica Kinsey, made out to Clue. And they refusing to look at it. It's like, why are you refusing to look at it?
Well, I think part of the problem is this is a pretty straightforward case.
So at the end of it all, when I look at an indictment, right? When I look at an indictment and it's part of my license to face 5 accusers, who did I commit this crime with?
The state,
The state.
at the end of the day, what the victim of a crime like delivering drugs or promoting prostitution is the
Okay, now is there a when you look in prostitution cases, right? What they said is it's a sex offense, right? And what I'm not understanding at that time is who did I commit this crime on for the state to pick it up and say you committed a crime?
It's not who you committed a crime on.
So why haven't I been a failure? If it's that concrete, and I say, reject your plea offer, give me whatever you gonna give me. What is the reason for delay?
Because after you have too many.
Well, why though? why is the lawyer keep falling off?
Well, I don't know, but I think the first step we need to do is to have a mental evaluation.
I think I better read on what delay means, because it says delay in finding of indictment and filing of information. Now, I will agree that the state supposedly filed this information. Everybody is restricted to go over the preliminary hearing with me, but on the transcript, Judge Bennett says you don't have a police report, and the reason why you don't have a police report is because Kerry Wiley never waived preliminary hearing. But here, Jessica Kinsey comes because Kerry Wiley supposedly gets off this case or whatever, and she tells me that the plan is to revoke this preliminary hearing that I supposedly waived.
Well, what we can do is cure this delay that has you so upset and get a trial set immediately and go to trial.
Without you investigating
You know what a
thoroughly?
trial is?
No, I don't.
Okay, a
I
trial
wanna
is
be-
12 people from the community to come in and give you case evidence and listen to our evidence and make a decision about whether you're guilty.
Okay, what is my evidence? What do in that house, since I've been to 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2 lawyers stepping in, what do they got for my defense?
Told me this and by the way, so they'll try to set as soon as possible. But in the meantime,
What I want is for somebody to look at what's going on in this case and not say he's guilty because he was in the room with his wife.
well, and that's what I'm trying to do is do this step by step, and the first step is to get you a mental evaluation
From who? Wanted somebody out here?
from a psychiatrist that I will get funding to have evaluated. This is Mr. Johnson, that you may suffer from a mental disease or defect that is making it difficult for you to.
Everything in my life is difficult. You don't understand. Y'all tell me, ATP. I'll look that up. Yeah. Okay,
Mr. Johnson, Mr. Johnson today. We're gonna go back to court on March 31st.
I ain't got no help. Y'all might as well hang me like the nigga I am.
We go to court on March 31st. I'll tell the judge that I have been
What, that I'm done?
I have a motion for her to sign so we can get you to bond.
Yeah.
Well, we can either do it out of PQ or you can go to the state hospital,
Why would I need the state hospital?
because I believe you need an evaluation.
I've been dealing with so much. My whole life has just been locked up. I've been enslaved my whole life. I've been finding what I fell in love with a prostitute, man. But she had me.
Aren't you like up there, right? She's up there. Huh, she gave it to me. No way.
Throw that away.
Okay, yeah.
That's all for today.
So just throw all this away.
That's not what I said.
In a psych house. what did she say about the delivery box? Attempting to deliver is the same thing as delivery. Yeah, we gotta find wow.
Mm. This is a report that Gale Rieder hid from the courts, but she actually never produced a receipt. As you can see, I got the emails here. She went over this frivolous indictment with you. There is no way that this is a real indictment. It can't be two cops going to a grand jury. Now, I was taking notes at the time. That's why I wasn't trying to overtalk. Cause sorry again for the static. I didn't know that my brother had turned on her cell phone to record me. But one thing that she said about this is that 7 people from the grand jury brung this true bill. So 7 people heard from 2 cops and said it was okay. But the indictment ain't even filled out correctly. It doesn't add up with my court audio transcript. So that's why I challenged this indictment. And I try to talk to Gale Rieder about it, the preliminary hearing. Each and every one of these attorneys did not want to defend me on having that preliminary hearing right. This part 2 of this video. You see, I'm arguing with this attorney. There's no trust. How she know what Jessica's going to say?
She never said that. Never in her way. The burden of proof is on the table. I'm ready to let it show. It's all the ones that asking for all these things. Okay. Thank you. I don't have nothing else. I know we are in I might have to exercise that more because I never fired anybody. I fired Jack Hill because I was on a plea bargain because my constitutional rights were stripped and violated from me. Taken. I went to court on the 19th and a set date was set for preliminary hearing on the 27th.
Do you remember talking to Paul Levy?
Paul Levy?
Wasn't that the PDSC?
Your boss?
No, I don't have a boss.
Oh, you probably after that.
Yeah. Paul Levy, remember you called Paul Levy PDSC, and I think he explained that, he told me that he thought you understood why there wasn't a preliminary.
Why wasn't there a
Because it was late. So you should call Paul Levy and ask him again about preliminary.
Why was there money?
That's what Carrie wanted to do.
Okay, who authorized her to do it?
That's what she did.
But who authorized her?
How would I know that?
Okay, and you're not listening to me at all.
I'm listening.
Have you went over the audio?
I've gone over everything.
So what was said
But
on
at
the audio?
this point, waiving preliminary hearings has no importance in your case.
Yes, it does. Because they were supposed to bring that information. They were supposed to bring information to a grand jury to get an indictment on me. But they fast forward through that part. And now y'all got this federal indictment that's in October, when it's 72 hours for an indictment. And I'm wondering why mine came so late.
Do you want the judge to explain to you why preliminary hearing doesn't matter anymore? Or do you just want to keep hanging on to this one
Because
thing?
it was my rights and they were taken from me. And I keep on holding on to it for every little bit.
Okay, and that's certainly your right. It's not a very good choice,
I don't care.
because it's keeping.
Y'all gonna send me to jail anyway. Y'all were trying to make me a sex offender and all that. I'm not no sex offender.
No, I'm not trying, I'm actually trying to represent you.
I don't think so.
As difficult as
I
possible.
don't believe you represented me at all. I believe you sharing information with Douglas Hanson or Big Loud. I don't know who
That's
it is.
not true.
I don't
It's
know.
Mr. Hanson. Mr. Biglaw is the district attorney. I can promise you that without a doubt, Walt Biglaw has never.
Then why would his signature be in Big Loud's place?
It says Walter M. Biglaw. It's Biglaw, not Biglaw.
I don't care who was
Marion
the
County
name.
District Attorney by Douglas Hanson. So the name of the actual district attorney, the guy who's elected into the office,
Oh, he's like this.
that's what they,
Does he understand that what's going on in my case?
I don't think he probably even knows about your
Right.
case.
You don't even know there's a victim. In all prostitution cases, there has to be a prostitute.
That's your wife. She's
Then why didn't she go to the grand jury?
because they don't need her testimony.
Why?
Because they can get an indictment with just what you told
Two
them.
hearsay cops, and you know I was sick. I have proof saying that I was sick. I have proof telling you, an affidavit.
Okay, but you're talking about two different things here.
Okay.
Let's talk about what can happen at the grand jury, and let's talk about what's admissible at trial. Those are two completely different things.
I don't know.
What's admissible at grand jury,
I'm so sorry.
when these witnesses went to the grand jury,
Mhm.
they can testify about what you told them.
That's it. So they went in to testify. So what did Roger Smith testify to?
They testified to the
Oh.
statements you gave them.
I never even
And they told them what was
I never said nothing to Roger Smith.
delivery of officers.
I never said nothing to Roger Smith.
What's admissible at trial, Mr. Johnson, is a whole different thing, and that's why we're doing motions to suppress. Okay, those are two separate things. You're kind of mushing them together in your head, and I can understand without basic training when you're doing this. But they're two completely separate things.
After this, I might be a lawyer.
Why?
But you
Getting
seem
some
to think,
education would probably,
what you mean, getting some education?
would probably do
Why
all of
were you
it.
talking to me like that? Earlier you said that my family, my sister and my brother had more sense than me.
Well, because
That's not how you should talk to a client.
she gave us the courtesy of privacy when we were talking.
But you said that because you were mad
I
and
was
frustrated
not,
with me.
no, I'm not mad and frustrated with you.
I just
I
want to get
feel
it clear.
sorry for you.
Oh, and you're not, and I don't feel like you're helping me.
I feel sorry for you because I think
Hang on.
that you are not, you're
First
not
you say I
willing.
can't assist in A, and then when I try to do that, you cancel my visit. You give me homework and say, give me witnesses and give me all this
And why haven't you
information.
done that?
I have,
Why haven't you?
because you
Why
canceled
don't
the
you send
visit.
that? Why don't you send
I'm
that
not
to me?
saying, I'm not
I
comfortable
told you to
with
send
it.
it to me.
I'm not comfortable with
The
it.
fact that you haven't sent it to me means it's on you, it's not on me, it's your fault.
Why can't I visit, why can't I meet you and talk to you in person?
Because you are not honest in your visits and because
I'm
you
not
recorded,
honest. Then why are you on my case?
you were sneaky and you
I
recorded
you
the visit
you
with
kicked
me
my visitors out.
without my permission.
You kicked
And
my
that's not
visitors
legal.
out without my permission.
Of
It's,
course I
I'm the client. It's my privilege, my right to bring somebody to support me.
Judge, ready for it?
More or less to tell you what I found out.
Oh, okay, what'd you find out?
I everybody was available for the 20th and 21st except for one officer. She'll make everything done again.
Yes, she did.
As you can see, and there's plenty of more videos. What's so important about this preliminary hearing? If the grand jury finds probable cause, the state issue an indictment against the defendant and it must stand trial. When does a preliminary hearing occur? If a defendant is arrested and held in custody, a preliminary hearing must occur within a certain number of days of the defendant must be released from custody. The United States Constitution and the state constitution, as well as criminal rule of procedure for the state's courts, provide that the defendant can be held for only a limited time on the basis of an arrest and criminal complaint. In order for the courts to continue holding a felony defendant in custody, the courts must conduct a preliminary hearing within the amount of time prescribed by the state law and issue a formal charging instrument, something referred to as a criminal information. If a preliminary hearing is not conducted within the prescribed If the preliminary hearing is not conducted within the time prescribed, the defendant must be released. If the defendant has been released on bail or his own recognizance, or the court has conducted the preliminary hearing at a later time. However, the preliminary hearing must occur within a reasonable time after an arrest. An unnecessary delay violates the defendant federal Sixth Amendment. And you hear me talk about this with Attorney Gale Rieder, but she wasn't taking me serious because she was actually working with the prosecutor. Sixth Amendment right to a speedy trial. If the defendant isn't, if a defendant is arrested of a charge in a criminal complaint and the prosecutor's office or the court does not schedule the preliminary hearing until months or years later, the case can be dismissed because of the delay. The judge must review the circumstances of the delay and to determine whether the delay was unreasonable and therefore violates the defendant's constitutional rights to a speedy trial. What happens at a preliminary hearing? What happens at a preliminary hearing? A preliminary hearing is somewhat like a mini trial. The prosecution can call witnesses to testify and present physical evidence or documents and records evidence to show that the defendant likely committed the crime. A preliminary hearing usually is not as exhaustive as a criminal trial, and prosecution likely will not present all its evidence against the defendant, just enough to establish probable cause. The rules regarding what kind of evidence can be presented may be more relaxed than at trial. For instance, hearsay may be permitted. This means that the police officers can testify about what the witnesses told him during the interview, and the prosecutor will not be required to have those witnesses testify at the hearing. How courts conduct preliminary hearings and what occurs in each hearing varies with each state law and state constitutions. Rights to counsel at a preliminary hearing. A defendant is entitled to have an attorney represent him or her at a preliminary hearing. If the defendant requests an attorney, the courts cannot conduct the hearing without assuring that the defendant has a private counsel or appointing an attorney, such as a public defender, to represent the defendant. The defense attorney can advise the defendant of his or her rights, make arguments to the court about whether the evidence is significant to support formal charges against the defendant, or present evidence on the defendant's behalf. I'm almost done. Should the defense present evidence at a preliminary hearing? Should the defendant testify? Can y'all be quiet? My eyes is hurting.
I don't know why.
'Cause I don't know what I came to do tonight. I don't know.
They don't have a
She had me sitting here at the red light. Should the defendant present evidence at the preliminary hearing? And should the defendant testify? Whether to present evidence and whether the defendant should testify at a preliminary hearing are the questions that the defendant and his attorney must answer in each individual case. In some cases, it may be the best for the defendant to simply let the prosecution present its evidence and say very little. In other cases, however, there may be compelling evidence that show clearly that the defendant did not commit the crime or was incapable of committing the crime, perhaps because he was out of the country or in another state. Shush. When the crime was committed and the defendant had solid evidence to establish the alibi. In some cases, a defense attorney and the defendant may agree that the defendant should testify in a preliminary hearing at a preliminary hearing. For instance, the case may involve the issue of self-defense, and the defendant may be a much more credible witness than the victim. This kind of decision is very difficult to make, and a defendant should never choose to testify at a preliminary hearing without consulting with an attorney.
Oh, my sister. Mom, I'm trying to do. No,
Can a defendant waive a preliminary hearing? One more piece of paper and I'm done with this. Criminal defendants usually have the option to waive a preliminary hearing, but this happens very rarely, and no defendant should do this without the advice of an attorney. If you waive a preliminary hearing, you allow prosecution to proceed on criminal charges against you without having to present evidence. But you heard Gale Rieder say that Roger Smith and Hernandez took evidence in front of 7 of my peers. So, but the rule says that if I waive it, then Douglas Hanson don't have to present any evidence. So when did he present this evidence? Later on, right? Present its evidence. Most likely, a competent defense attorney would recommend waiving the preliminary hearing only if the evidence against the defendant was substantial or overwhelming, and waiving the preliminary hearing will benefit the defendant in a significant way. For example, if the case is a high-profile matter involving a great deal of publicity, and an attorney might recommend waiving preliminary hearing in order to limit the release of information and evidence to the public. Plead before preliminary hearing. Plead before preliminary hearing. If you are arrested and receive notice that you will be charged with a felony, contact an attorney immediately. A knowledgeable attorney can protect your rights and keep you informed through the preliminary hearing process. In addition, in some cases, it's possible to negotiate a plea with the prosecutor before a preliminary hearing. An attorney can investigate these possibilities, and advise you as to whether it's a good option for you. Gale Rieder felt her duties and she retired because she knowingly knew that I knew the truth about her misconduct working with Douglas Christopher Hanson. Please follow me as I uncover more corruption dealing with Douglas Christopher Hanson. There's so much more that I could tell you, and I know that I'm running out of time on this thing. I'm searching for help in all the right places. I am a private citizen. I'm no longer on this hateful parole or probation. Whatever they made a choice to call it, I got myself off of it, and I went up against a lot of hateful people that made choices to do the work of Douglas Hanson. Now y'all see me at these pictures a lot of times. What people really don't understand, and I'll go right here, is I in fact could have joined the 152 million class action civil suit against corruption of courts and of the courts, police in Oregon, but I made a choice to hold on to my evidence because I felt at the time that I was better off showing my evidence solely about these people that you see here. This is a pretty heavy lineup, but it's a true lineup. And in these pictures, you'll see that these people care very little about my rights. So y'all, please share. I know this been a long stream, but we're going to get this evidence out there and we're going to push it. And there's a lot more that I could show you about Gale Rieder. I do another live dealing with the missing email. So thank you again for watching. God bless you, and remember, stay safe out there. Give yourself social distancing. Always wear a mask because we in some hard times. May God be with you, and enjoy the rest of your